Hello, my name is Cynthia and welcome to my Flosstube channel. I'm happy to be here with you today to talk about my stitching, to show you some new finishes, some things I've worked on, lots of starts that I've never shown on my channel. I've been absent for quite some time. As you know, if you have followed my channel for any time, I've started YouTube, I think it's been over 6 years ago, but the last year I don't think really counts. I've just been able to make a few videos. I just haven't had as much time to stitch and haven't really felt as creative. So if there's nothing for me to show, then I don't have a lot to film. But I have had some fun times over the summer to get creative and have had some recharging through friends at a retreat and just feeling some new energy toward being creative. So I'm happy to be here with you, like I said, to show you. I guess I'll start with some finishes that are recent that I have not shown on my channel before. I think I may have last shown these. These are the most summery things I have to show in my last video as a planned start. And I did make these embroidered pillows last summer. I did not finish them all the way though. So this is Snap, Crackle, Pop from I'll have to put the name of the designer here. It's from Etsy. I'll put her name there. But these were so fun to work on and super easy and quick. It's supposed to be a primitive pattern, so I kept it pretty simple as far as like the embroidered stitch edge there. It's kind of rustic, and I had it in a basket with straw, so it's got some straw. It's just stuffed with fiberfill. It just has some felts on the back with a pair of my old jeans because I never throw anything away. And I also found these firecrackers at Hobby Lobby, and they were bright red, which if you know me, I always want things to be burgundy. So I kind of like roughly hand painted these to kind of match. And I thought it turned out so cute because these were, I think maybe like $1.50 at Hobby Lobby. And so I have them kind of displayed in a big long trough, but I also had them at one point in the summer just in a bowl. So they're just kind of a small little bowl filler. And I used the fabric from, I believe it was Hobby Lobby. I used that yarn around, and I stitched that on recently from Joann's, which we can no longer get, but this was a wool big piece of yarn. So I have a lot of that blue edging. I like to use yarn because it's so affordable for what you get. So those are Snap, Crackle, Pop. The other big finish I had recently, excuse me while I put that down. I have so much stuff around me. It's going to be a challenge to keep it kind of organized. But the other finish that I did probably back in June was my middle block of, sorry, I thought I had a needle, but no, just some thread. The Hakron Hollow Village. So here is Elijah's grist mill. I had not started that at all when I last showed this piece, and it's getting harder and harder to show to y'all because it is so big. But I used I didn't. I used some overdyes on this instead of the called for. I believe the surrounding colors were called for, but I know this blue, it doesn't look blue, but it's a navy blue at the top was an overdyed by Gentle Arts. I think it's Raven, super dark. And then this is my favorite, just about my favorite yellow from Weeks Dye Works called Whiskey. I really like to have a big expansive stitching to have some variegation. Not always, but in this case I did. Like this one doesn't have variegation, but I just really like that color. And I think this one was the called for, or I might have just used a lighter version of what was called for because she always does like a shadowed side. So here is where I am on my giant Hakron Village by Carriage House Samplings, 36 count vintage mocha, country mocha. And I am starting on block 12, which is the cemetery. Some people don't fill in the black, but I chose to. So I'm trying to get that started, and it doesn't look like a lot, but this is like, you know, hundreds of stitches just doing that black edging, and that's going to really pop. It's also going to be really, really dense, being 2 strands over 2 on 36 is dense, dense, dense. But I really love the effect Hope that's showing up well. So I have 10 blocks done, on to my 11th. Really pushing for a finish this year. Here's the entire piece if you've not seen it, which I think most people have, but see, this is the one I'm working on with the dark fill-in. Lots of that to do. I'll probably go to the schoolhouse as well, and then just keep working on the two at the same time. So that'll be my final piece of it, and I have found a frame in my stash. I actually had I guess it's like a lithograph, is that what it's called, from my grandmother that had a German 10 Commandments, but I had it in a sunroom in my previous house, and it was just a print, like a poster, and it was completely faded out, and so I'd never been real happy with it. I even whitewashed the edge of the frame, and then I happened to lay down my Huckra and Hollow on it because I was looking at it, and I thought, I think my Huckra might fit on that, and it does. So now I have a frame. I don't have hardly any excuses not to get it finished. I'm so excited, and so hopefully this year that will be a finish. The other finish I had that was so fun, and it's funny, I'm used to being creative with not a lot. You know, we have 4 kids, single income for most of our marriage, and so we've had to be very thrifty. And I started this a long time ago. I was trying to figure out, why did I do this project that I'm about to show you? But I looked back, hang on just a second, and I remember this is probably the impetus of the project I'm about to show you. This is a frame from the Goodwill. It came like this. It had a picture of like apples and wine and stuff. And I really needed this poem because I found it online, and it was like, I want to print that out. I want to say this like every day. It's a mother's prayer, and it says, give me patience when we hands tug at me with small demands. Give me gentle and smiling eyes. Keep my lips from hasty replies. Let not weariness, confusion, or noise obscure my vision of life's fleeting joys. So when in years to come my house is still, no bitter memories its rooms may fill. So I just found that online and thought, that is so much my goal as a mom, you know, to not have regrets and not have missed opportunities. And of course we all do, but that's another reason why I haven't been stitching as much. I'm trying to really pour into my kids at this point in their life when they're tweens, before they enter into youth and teenage years and get so focused on their friends. I'm spending each week at the beach with them. Down the street from us, we have a little lake that they brought in sand, and I'm taking them to Six Flags. We invested in a season pass, and it's not my idea of like the perfect day exactly, but being with them is, and watching them have fun is. I can't do the rides anymore. I tried last Thursday, and no, but this reminder, I keep it on my desk, and I made these flowers out of burlap just a really long time ago, and some scraps. And I just love that you can take things that are maybe, you know, someone's trash and just like scraps of something and make a memento and a something that's meaningful to you. And what I did in that vein with this project was just do some kind of scouting around at Goodwill. Sometimes and most of the time actually, I'm going to Goodwill with a project in my hand, trying to find something to finish it on. In this case, I did the opposite. And so I found this piece by Kelly Ray Roberts. It's called a boxy art, I think. I have quite a few of her pieces. I'll show you just a few in a minute, but my mom collected these things for me because she knows how much this artist kind of resonated with me. And I believe she has her own shop, and I know she's online, but this piece was probably pretty expensive, and I got it for $3.29. One man's, you know, cast off. And I thought, I want to do a cross stitch on that, but what cross stitch can I do? It has the word faith underneath, which is nice, but I just really saw this as a base for a finish, and it's boxy, so it stands on its own. It doesn't need an easel, which is also a nice bonus. And I love the way this turned out. This is from Teresa Kogut. It's a free pattern. I believe it was from Market like 2 or 3 years ago. And I've seen a lot of people do this. I think the charted colors are like brown or something, just kind of prim. And I wanted it to sort of coordinate with this, but also just my favorite colors end up being kind of these sagey aqua blues. You can kind of tell behind me. So I have a collection of a lot of these kinds of threads. I have maybe some, gosh, I can't remember the number, 926, something like that from DMC. And then I have Teal Frost, another DMC, Bracken by Color and Cotton, another DMC, and then a Gentle Arts, which that wasn't my ideal variegation on that letter, but it's fine. I was trying to just get it done at that point. I also dyed some of this rickrack, and I was surprised at how well this turned out. This is just some rickrack from Hobby Lobby. It's 100% polyester, just white. I wish it was a little bigger. It doesn't show up as much as I wanted, but it is there. It definitely helps make a distinction. And I often admire hand-dyed trims like from Lady Dot, but I don't always have the money to, you know, spend per yard. And so that big piece of, I don't know how much it comes, 3 yards was $2.50, and I probably got it on 50% off. So $1.25. And I dipped it in the RIT dye. I think it was maybe jade and aqua, just a little bit, and then some instant coffee. And then I put it on my oven burner after I fixed dinner last night or yesterday, and I just let it get a little bit crispy so that it has some dark edges there. I don't know if you can see that, but it has some burnt edges, which I love. Not for everybody, but that's kind of my style. And then I really wasn't going to put a bow, but I found some of this tape measure tape that I had, or ribbon. And this is an antique mother of pearl button that I found. And I ended up loving the bow. These pins I got from Hobby Lobby probably 4 or 5 years ago, and haven't had anything to put them on. I think they were on clearance for, like, again, oh, here they are. I'm pretty sure they were marked off. I threw away the plastic, but it says $3.29, and I don't know if they still have this kind of thing. It's called Flossology or Yarnology, enamel top straight pens. And I wanted the right project for these, and I'm so glad I waited, because I think that looks so cute. It's got a DMC floss, a bobbin of floss, and then the scissors. So I was just thrilled with how this turned out. I thought it was so me, just kind of quirky and artsy, but also sort of scavenger, I guess, from, you know, bits and pieces of free pattern, and then just little tiny pieces of lace and things that I scavenged, kind of like a magpie. So I encourage you to try that pattern. And a lot of my friends had said, oh, I wanted to do that someday, and make it your own with your own colors, because it's one that's really easy to do. I did it on 40 count. Oh, I forgot to say that. I did it on 40 count linen, which I'll show you the other half of this piece. I don't love working on 40 count. That's why this took me a little longer than I thought it would. If I had done it on 28, I would have been a lot faster, but I had to do 40 for this size. So hang on just a second. Okay, sorry, I got interrupted with a phone call, but I just was saying how much I enjoyed putting that piece together when I had so much kind of scraps and things that just really got my creative juices flowing. And I wanted to kind of show you what I was going to put it with, since I sort of have a collection of needleworky stuff and Kelly Ray Roberts stuff. So here's the Kelly Ray Roberts box, like I said, the boxy art, but then I used this floss here. I purposefully used Bracken on that letter A, because I knew it would be sitting next to the Needles and Pins by Brenda Gervais with a needle and thread. I made this a while ago. I've shown it before, but see how it kind of coordinates just the colors. I wish I could fit it in there better. I might have time to put it on the wall and show you, because this also has a hanger on the back if I want to. So these are going to kind of be next to each other, and the Bracken was repeated. That's what I love about picking your own colors, because you can make it coordinate. And then I also have this heart from Kelly Ray Roberts that my mom picked up probably at some boutique, and it says, because it is what connects us heart to heart, and it has love. So see how fun it is to kind of have a collection. And then I don't know if there's a Kelly Ray Roberts fan that is unloading her collection at Goodwill, because at the same Goodwill several years ago for $5 I found this large metal what do they call it, I guess it's just a memo board, but it has like an easel on the back, and I use it to hold my needle minders, and some I've made out of my great grandma's jewelry. These butterflies came with it. They're just magneted, but I find it so inspiring, because it's like a kind of mixed media thing. And of course this was probably $60, $70 in Kelly Ray's store, but I got it for $5.49. So you just keep your eye open if you have a favorite artist, especially one that's had a lot of things go licensed, like Kelly Ray Roberts or Curly Girl Studios, you can find them. It just takes, that's probably 15 or 20 years ago. So you have to be patient, but I've enjoyed making that little collection. I think it's gonna look so pretty all together. So those were my finishes. Let me make sure. The Snap, Crackle Pop, my Hawk Run Hollow Village, and then the Create Every Day by Teresa Kogut. So thank you for letting me share those with you. And then I will show you what I've been working on very recently. And I haven't decided yet. I'll either put at the end of this kind of a whip parade of all the things I've started since I last filmed, or I might make that a separate film. Oh, it started raining really hard if you hear that. But I might put that as a separate video. So let me get out all of my current works in progress, and I have quite a bit of haul to show you too since it's been 6 months. Thanks. Okay, there's just a handful of things I've been working on currently. I'm trying to stay more focused and keep things in one bag of what I'm working on. I'm using this, I think this company went out of business, but this 31 bags. I just keep this by my chair. I'm putting just 3 or 4 projects in it, and I'm trying to stay focused on just those. I'm not giving myself a ton of parameters because sometimes I find that I just need to be free to randomly do a freebie like this and feel super inspired. So I don't want to kind of take the fun out of things by trying to be too regimented, but I also need to kind of rein myself in. So that's what I'm trying right now. We'll see how that works. I did want to start this over the patriotic season, which is really almost kind of behind us, but nevertheless, I got this Barbara Anna piece out, and these are free on I'm not sure where this one is located anymore. I know I had it linked at one point from maybe a Facebook or something, but this piece here a lot of people have done, and I went ahead and got a pretty good start on it. It's so cute. There's the little bird, and I am not using the called for colors just because I didn't have them, but I'm using like a 3371 is my black brown, and I'm gonna use some different golds and terracottas and reds. So I'm not really to the fun part yet. I'm just doing this foundation, but I got the lettering done, which for me sometimes can be a point of stalling. So I started that one. I want to do this other one. Why is it always upside down as well? But haven't had the time, and I'm not sure I'm going to get to it. So at least I got a start on that, and I've seen that finished in so many cute ways. I think Christy Potter from Java Girl Stitches had shown a finish of this, and I know lots of people have. It's a pretty old pattern. So that's one I started. And then another, Teresa Kogut is so inspiring to me. I have some haul that I'm going to show you, but this is another one of her free market patterns that I found on Pinterest, Nashville 2024, so just last year. And I'm not using any of her colors, I don't think. I'm just taking a scrap that someone had given me, and I think it's 28 count, and kind of using my own colors. I got the tomato done. I want to do this as a stand-up. I saw someone do that on Pinterest or on Instagram, and I want to, this light is a little weird right now. The weather is so odd today. It's very rainy, but the sun is really bright too. So my light is kind of in and out, but here's what she looks like without the light coming through the back. I don't know where this fabric came from. It was just a mystery gift from a subscriber, but I made her socks pretty bright. And then this funky color I've mentioned before, if you've watched me for a while, I'm always trying to find a place to use it. It's from Shakespeare's Peddler. I think it was on her sale page or something, and it was just this weird electric grandma, she called it, I think. I like that name, so I remembered it. But it's a weird piece of silk, and I thought I had it on a card. It's just loose like this, and I thought these are kind of 70s colors, kind of avocado green, but it amuses me, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. So I used 2 shades of green. It looks like a oh, that's a Victorian motto, Forest Splendor, and then that electric grandma silk. So I had to redo part of this because this is a very exacting pattern as far as the symmetry, and I got off. I think I had to rip out a good section over here and start over. I was farther along. I love her little scissors, and she has some fabric under her arm, and then it says, I stitch, that's what I do. The tomato. So she'll be so cute as a little stand-up right beside my chair, or I have a frame that I found that I might put her on too. So I haven't decided, but I'm not using the hair color. I'm right in the middle of the stitches there. You can see I haven't used the colors that she did it. She kind of did it in stripes, you can see, but I'm just using a variegated floss, and I'm going every other row. So it will almost look like I used 2 flosses, trying to make it kind of match my hair color, or what's left of my hair color. You can see I have my Bride of Frankenstein stripe coming in as I finally stopped dyeing my hair. I turned 50 at the end of this summer, and I told myself I'm going to be done with dyeing my hair, just because I'm tired of it. Not because I think it's wrong if you color your hair or not. I was getting tired of it. So, and I would have to do it every 3 weeks if I didn't want to be gray. So I heard something the other day. If you can be, you can look older or you can look weird. You can't look younger because you're not younger anymore. So I'm embracing that. I'm embracing that, as a lot of us have, right? The last thing I want to show you, oh no, there's 2. The last 2 I want to show you. This one is from a new creation studio. The designer reached out to me and sent me a free pattern a couple of years ago. And so I purchased all of these. I always like to support designers that do that. So sweet. And I'm wanting to do the entire series, the nativity story. I think there's 4. Yeah, she may do more at some point, but out of this series there's 4. I'm working on the angel right now, and I was just doing that on scraps. I have this oatmeal Ada scrap. I think it's 14 count, which is pretty easy stitching for the car, and I even keep it in a makeup bag, which is weird, but just this makeup bag. And this is a free floss that someone at church gave me. It's a sub for DMC 926. I don't even know who makes this. It looks like Galaxy. I have heard of Galaxy. I think that's like the off-brand that they sell at Hobby Lobby, but it's the same color as DMC 926. So if I run out of this, it'll be fine. There might be a negligible difference, but I'm not worried. So that one is done, the Shepherds. It's a little bit of tricky stitching with that negative space. Sometimes I get a little off. In fact, these probably aren't perfect. I think that one was a little short, and I was just like, good enough. So here's the Shepherds, and I'm gonna use it in this room. I have a tree in here that's white, and I wanted it to kind of be like creamy and teal. I don't have a lot of Christmas. I have some Christmas stuff that color, but I thought I want to do it a little non-traditional than my red and green. So there's my teal nativity from a new creation studio. She is doing fabulous designing on Etsy. Her Instagram is really fun to follow too. She's just very talented. So appreciate being able to stitch her designs, including the one she gifted me last year. And then the last one, I went to a retreat, which I'll talk a little bit about as I show my haul. But I went to a retreat back in the end of May, kind of as a reward to myself for finishing up my school year with my job. It turned out so rewarding, but it was really tiring. So by May, I was ready to have a retreat. And we met in Denton, about a group of 20 of us that have been Instagram friends, some of us for 6 or 7 years now, which blows my mind how fast time goes. But a lot of them were starting Lily from Stacy Nash, and I already have Henrietta underway. And so I told myself, you can't start Lily until you finish Henrietta. And there's actually a few others I want to do more than Lily. I like to do more of the forest animals, or this is actually a farm animal. But I did put in some stitches in her while I was there. And so here is Henrietta. I'm using the called for, I believe, I think it's Tarragon from Weeks Direct, yeah. And I didn't realize it at first, but this is supposed to be staggered, her dress, which would look nicer, but honestly, I don't really care. Because as I was talking with my neighbors and I was just stitching along, I ended up doing a repeating pattern and not counting it out, and it's okay. It makes it easier to stitch, so I'm not going to be too mad about it. And then that hen is Pecan, also by Weeks Direct. So great variegation. I like to use variegated floss on Stacy Nash if I can, because her color palette is so muted and, you know, prim. So, and I'll like to do that basket beside. I don't know if it's going to be a super big priority, but I'll put her by my farm stuff. So I just need to keep filling in. Once you get the counting done on the face and the body, it's so much easier to just fill in. And I've subbed a few of these colors. This is a Nutcracker color from Frankie at A Wicked Stepmother. I haven't checked on her in a while. I'm not sure if she's still on Etsy, but if she is, I'll link it. I have a huge collection of her floss thanks to her generosity. And that's a great variegated white that I'm going to use for, I used it for the lace at the bottom. And I'll put, I thought I had, oh yeah, I do. I have a piece of rayon seam tape that someone shared to put around her neck. So, and I might tint it just a little bit with some dye. But that's the main things I've been working on, including my Hawker and Hollow. So that makes for about 4 or 5 projects. I will probably switch these out a little bit for some Christmas things. But as long as this is going, I'm probably going to have a separate video for the things I started in the last year, and that I am also going to kind of rotate in. And let me put this away and I'll show you several months of haul. So if you're not interested in that, thank you for letting me share my projects, for letting me share the things I've been working on, and I will see you next time. But if you want to see some haul, then stick around. You'll have to bear with me. This is a lot, and it's also from lots of different sources. So I kind of had it grouped together for a long time on my desk, like months. And I've forgotten where some of it came from. My local needle workshop sadly went out of business. The Stitch Niche in Arlington had a huge sale. I actually put it on my calendar. I met with my principal in Azle and drove all the way to Arlington, if you know how far apart that is. It took me almost an hour, but I was so happy to be able to get some really, really nice deals and just creative inspiration from the Stitch Niche. I'm so sad to see it go, but it was a good haul. So here's some of the things I got at the Stitch Niche. I've admired this one for a while. I have a shelf in my bedroom that has cat finishes on it, and I'm gonna make this. It's called Antidepressants, and it has a pill bottle with these sweet cats, and I have a tuxedo, so he's kind of hanging out from the top there. I don't know if I'll do that as a hanging ornament. I'll probably do it as kind of like a little stand-up to go on my bookshelf. Here's another cat piece. This is the Artsy Housewife, another one I like to support. Gigi sent me a couple patterns a while ago, and I think this one came out at market this 2025 year, and I love it. I'm going to change the cat to a tortoise possibly, or I might do it in a little muted. I did have a cat that was called Rusty, my first cat, and so I think I'll do it in that color. I'm a big cat lover. You can tell from the things I stitch, but those two were kind of in that vein. And here's another one with a cat. This is My Heart is Fed. I ordered this from an Etsy shop, and I can't recall which one, but this was part of my market order. I only got 2 or 3 things, but I love this one, and I want to put it either on a board or on the wall. I also considered making it blue or green to go in my bedroom, but I love the red, so I haven't decided. But I'll definitely change the cat to be a tortie like Roxy. So there's that one, and I did get some of the threads together. I have these kind of artsy clip art things I get from Etsy. They're usually like 99 cents or something, and they're like just fun. And so I decided I was going to copy with my printer the floss list with the this one doesn't have the symbols. I did another one where I had the symbols, but I thought, let me try it like this so I'm not totally hijacking all my threads into a project. So I don't need a full set. I don't think. I probably will in the skirt and stuff, but I wanted to try to spread my threads around a little bit, so I'm experimenting with that. I'll let you know how that goes. And the other one, oh, I haven't ever picked up this part of the Jenny Bean for the parlor. This is part 2. I have one from a gift, and then this one is that really long piece that's like, and they send, I think it's 1 stitch longer. Teresa Vanette designed that, and I got another one of hers as well from the Stitch Niche. Yeah, this is some market stuff and some Stitch Niche. That's kind of hard to say after you say it so many times. So that was Stitch Niche. This is market. I've seen so many stitching it, and when I saw it, I just fell in love. It's not as huge as you might fear, so I was hopeful that I can actually make a stab at it. And one of the things, I need to put it in there, in fact, while I'm sitting here, one of the things I found at the Stitch Niche was a Gloriana silk. Gloriana? No, NPI. Kathy Black always says NPI. A NPI floss that she says on the back is not a good sub in DMC. She said it doesn't go as dark as NPI 149. So they happen to have these on 30-40% off. So I got that dark burgundy, which was one of my favorite things. I think it might be this flower. Was one of my favorite things about it. So I have a piece of like larger count linen. I think it's like 32, and I might do it on 36 just so that I don't run out of, you know, like some of these nicer flosses, because I imagine that's a little bit of a flossier. Sorry, I'm emptying out. I feel like I got another NPI, but these were Krynic silks. That would be pretty in here too. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in there so I don't forget. But I picked these up specifically, and then this NPI was. My colors are a little bit skewed with the way the light is changing in and out. Let me see if this helps. Yeah, it's kind of an olivey deep green, and then I had that burgundy. So that's from Velvet to Linen by Kathy Barrett, and I did not get that on sale. They did have it there on the sale, and I had already bought it full price, which is fine. But there you have it. And I was trying to find that other Shakespeare's Peddler. Here it is. I've wanted this since it came out, and it was part of a club when it first came out, so you couldn't even get it. And then years go by, and I'm just now getting Maria Finney. I love this one. It's so like muted and feminine, and it's an Adam and Eve, which I love. And I want to do this on a piece of Weeks Dye Works Dove. I just love the idea of that White House on a blue. I might have to change a few of the colors, but I think it'll look so pretty. And it does have a DMC or Classic Colorworks and Weeks Dye Works. Yeah, one of the colors is Weeks Dye Works Dove, so I wouldn't be able to use that on the Dove fabric, but wouldn't that be so pretty on a light blue? I wanted that for my bedroom for so long. So when I finish my other two Adam and Eves in process, I'm gonna start Maria Finney. And those I do not have to show you right now because they've kind of stalled a little bit. Here's some more Stitch Niche haul. This piece was 40% off, like I said. And it's just a really pretty one from Teresa Kogut that I kind of overlooked. It has, let me make sure I don't show any patterns. It has so many bee projects in it, which to me, bees are summer. There's the cover piece. Let me show you the one I really like from the bees though. But yeah, I like bees all year round too. So I love that bottom piece there. Isn't that so pretty? I would even consider stitching that on a black piece of fabric and then stitching the two together rather than do all that fill in. But I really loved that one. And there was one other bird in here. Actually a couple of birds, but look at this one too. Haven't seen a lot of people working on those. I might do that on a grungier fabric. I think it would really look pretty and pop. And she uses some of my favorite reds over and over. We must share that same love because she's constantly using like DMC 355 and Garnet Dark by Weeks Dye Works. What's the other one that I love so much? Cayenne. She used that on the Needleworker skirt, I think. So we have a similar color palette that we love, and it works for me. There's the stuff from the Stitch Niche. Other than these finishing pieces, whoa, had a little tumble there. These were just one-offs. Like you will never find this kind of deal again. 50 cents. You know, I had a piece from Primrose Cottage that I might put on that and switch out because it's so fun. And then this wasn't, sorry to go out of frame here. This wasn't anything that was needlework particularly. It says beef on the back, but what I would do is paint it. In fact, I don't need this plastic. Sorry for the crinkles. I would paint this, maybe a red or yellow even. That would be pretty, and mustard. So I really enjoy finishing on those boards, and that one was, what was it? I think it was $1. So you just can't beat it. Another thing that was $1, I love this little tin. I wish I had gotten more of them, but I was trying to think of others coming behind me because the sale had just started. I was like, don't take everything, leave it for other people. But this was a class they were gonna do, and yeah, see, $1. And I think this just came from Hobby Lobby, but it was $12. And I thought I could do a stitch here and put some things inside of it, or I could just use it. Right now I've just been storing some floss in there. In fact, here's the floss I got from the Stitch Niche. This is a Krynic silk. I want to use that on a blackbird piece. My lighting, sorry y'all, it's really kind of overwhelming. I love that purple. It's probably my favorite. And then I got some Deep Forest by Gentle Arts, but it's called a shaker line. That's one of my favorite greens. And then this Blue Corn by Classic Colorworks. It's a great blue. So aren't those pretty? Just a couple colors. And then, oh yeah, this one. Again, when do you ever find floss for 40% off? I should have gotten more, but I was trying to be good. Crimson. Just beautiful colors. And I kind of have been stashing those in that bucket until I find something to do. And then they had these in a box. They're just another button company, Jabco. Yeah. And they were like 25 cents, 50 cents. I got that bigger star for a patriotic piece, and that's a bird with a star on its back. And a pumpkin. So just a couple of those. They were in like bowls, and you just like count them out in little baggies. I think that was everything I got from Stitch Niche. And then I went to a retreat. Boy, that is hard to put away. In Denton that I talked about, and I got several gifts. I don't have them all here with me. I got a pretty little yo-yo from my friend Celeste. That was something her mom had made. And then I have this really sweet little project from Carol Lee. Stitching is elementary, and it's meant to go 1/1. I don't love 1/1 stitching, so I'm not sure I'll do it that way, but it was not very big. So stitching friends are the best. And she put it, I think, on top of this little 10 here, and then used the finishing ribbon too. It was so cute, and even put in a piece of fabric. So I probably will. I'll probably do it the way she intended so it'll fit. But that's so sweet. That'll be cute in my little stitching corner. And then I got several little things of, you know, floss rings, and people left things on your table, and I wasn't even sure where all of it was from. So if you were a friend there that gifted this, thank you so much. Stitch by the Brook. That was another Flosstuber. Stitch by the Brook. And let's see if there's anything else I put out here. Oh yeah, just some little trims. And I got some strawberries. Oh, I forgot to bring that over here. I got some strawberries from So Tattered that she had made, Katie had made, and a slice of watermelon. Just some really cute things. I didn't remember to bring them all over. I might put a picture at the end. And then we were at the Boxcar Retreat Center in Denton, which is fabulous, by the way. If you have a chance to go, it's only an hour from my door, so I felt really justified in going because it was so close. I didn't have to do airline tickets or anything. I did give some people some rides to the airport since I'm local, but I met some really sweet friends, and I was so grateful to get to go. And I found some other fabric. This is going to go for my bee stitching. This was on sale for like $2, and it's a fat quarter. So just some backing to some bee pillows, and I will probably show that in my whip parade if I end up attaching that, or if it's an extra video, you can see what that's going to go on. I want to make a project bag out of this fabric. I saw my friend Laurel or someone had this in their bag, and I was like, what is that? I think it's is it Tim Holtz fabric? I didn't know he made fabric, but I'm pretty sure that's right. It's just his like mixed media stuff. I just love yellow, especially in the summer, and that fabric is so cute. And then, oh, a friend did pass around some little pins and a coin cushion with a year, and then some blue bonnet fabric from another Texas friend. I'll have to find a Texas, like I could put these together on something that says Texas. And this fabric, I thought was so pretty. I want to do this on the back of a pillow I got from the Silver Needle. But yeah, look at that fabric. I thought that was so pretty. I'm not a quilter, but I could collect quilting fabric. Oh, that's by Riley Blake Designs. I think that's a pretty new one. So if you like that, it's pretty easy to find. And then I went to the Stitch Niche, Silver Needle, when I was at my dad's house over the end of July, or the beginning of July. It's not even the end of July yet. The beginning of July, we went there for my husband's birthday and put off fireworks with my sister-in-law, and visited the Silver Needle one day when I was going to my brother's house. And I've wanted this one for a really long time, Farm and Folk. My friend Lisa was doing this one at the retreat, and that was kind of a deal, sealed the deal for me. I had to get it, and I got these different flosses to kind of go with it. I don't have the fabric I'm going to use for it, but I'm going to start this one sooner rather than later. It's not very big, 75 by 74, this smaller one. So yeah, I love that one. It's an older pattern. A lot of these are older. The reason I get them, especially at Silver Needle, is because they're hard to find, and you can't necessarily get them without having to ship them. So while I'm there, I picked up another wordplay. Oh, sorry, this light is bad and that glare is intense. They have really shiny packaging apparently. But wordplay by With Thy Needle. You've probably seen it, but it has the sunflowers. I'll brighten it up just a little bit. You can walk through, Elijah. I just called you by your dad's name. So that one, and then the other one, oh good, they're right here so I can show you how they're gonna go together. This summer schoolhouse, I know it said summer. The ABC Darien, I think. I've wanted to do this one forever. I'm not gonna do it over one. I do not enjoy that. So I'm gonna do this on either a 36 or 40 count, probably 36. Given my last experience with 40, I want it to be enjoyable to me and not such a stretch. So this is the fabric though that I was envisioning with this set. It looks kind of brighter in the light than it is. It's more muted. So I would kind of coordinate those colors, and I want to do all the different ones. But until I finish this one, I'm not going to buy more because I'm bad about buying an entire set and never starting any of it. So it's kind of going to be a carrot and stick thing with those. And then let's see. Oh, another one I missed from the boxcar retreat. Sorry, y'all, this is a little bit scattered, but there are some fun things that maybe are a little bit older or you just haven't come across yet. I got to meet in person. I've talked to Roberta before, but not Lenny. This is the Sable Stitchers, and they gifted that to me. I want to do this in red. When I finish my Needleworker Girl, I'll probably try to do that real quick. I do have a board. And I love that it's a sunflower. So I'll try to do this one sooner rather than later. And if there's any left, Elijah. Sorry, my kids have been hanging out in my bedroom, but I'm taking too long, so they've run out of room. And this Pineberry Lane was also, oh, it looks like I got this from the Stitch Niche, and then I got a piece of fabric from Boxcar. But I've wanted to do this one for a long time. I love Pineberry Lane. If you've watched me for a while, I've done probably 5 or 6, maybe 4. I have more, but I haven't finished as many. I wanted to do it on this green piece of fabric. Boy, this lighting. It's kind of a olivey, like grungy green by Weeks Dye Works. What's it called? Kudzu. So I follow this lady, Carol Fun, on Instagram, and she does all of her Pineberry lanes on on bright colors, or like on hand-dyed colors that she has done. And she did one of these on a bright green, and I want to switch it up and do it on a dark green. I just thought it looked really fun. So like with some brightening up, I might have to do like a lighter green or some ecru, but it'll show up really pretty, I thought, on that kudzu. And my husband is here just as I'm finishing up. I got a few more bee projects. I'll hopefully show these more in August. I want to get them done. The bee's knees, there was a sale at Tar Heels. This has been on my list for a long time. The Tiny Town, absolutely love that one. And then the Hive Rules. My husband is just now coming back from Michael's. He got me some fabric to start this one. And the DMC floss, he picked that up for me as well. So I will be starting this one very soon. But I've wanted to do it for quite some time. In fact, I've started one. Oh, and here's some more Flosstube. So I'll put the bee stitching on there. And then here's a project bag I got. And my family's here, so I'll be back. I got interrupted again. Let me just finish up with what I was gonna say about the last few things here. This project bag was at the retreat as a prize, and I think, did I leave it in here? We had a fun game, to use these color forms. If you remember these from A Child of the 80s, if you played with those and used texture to make their clothes, like you rub a crayon across. And we had a contest over who had the best design, and I guess they liked my little clutch there. So she won, and so did Shelly, Key X Stitch. But I was able to get this project bag from Krista, from Brooke, Stitch by the Brook, who does beautiful work. I think that is just fabulous. So I have all my bee stuff in here that I just showed you. The Hive Rules, which my husband just picked up the floss and fabric for, so I'll be starting, and some of those other smaller ones in there. The last things I wanted to show were from Hobby Lobby quite a few months ago, but I did not realize that they had bulb pens, B-U-L-B, at Hobby Lobby for $1.29, and they're black. I wish they were rusty, but I could probably make them rusty with some paint. So those are a nice find for me. There were 100 of them. I used a lot of those. And then this was in the spring shop, but it does have these. These are raw wood. Sometimes I leave them raw wood. Sometimes I paint them. But they had them for 4th of July as well. I've already opened them and used them, so I didn't have those loose, but I thought those were really cute. And you can use them for any season really, but summer, spring. So there were 54 pieces. I thought that was a really good deal for $2.50. They also have these buttons that say handmade with love, and I thought that would be pretty on the back of a pillow. I hadn't seen those before. $3 and they're on sale, so probably $1.50. And then I forgot to show this easel. This was another, I think they had this for a class or something and they painted it themselves. I might have to touch it up a little bit, but this would be a pretty easel for maybe one of the monthly finishes. Haven't decided, but couldn't pass it up for $3. So that is everything I got. Sorry that was a little disjointed and a little bit chaotic, but hopefully you found some inspiration. And I probably will do what I've been working on. I have an entire bog bag full over here of things I've started since we visited on video. And I'll probably be stitching those this month, some of them for Christmas in July. So let me make a separate video for that. I might be wearing the same shirt, but I'll post it separately. And thank you for coming by to visit with me today. I hope you've been well. I've been praying for some of the ones that left request back in my last video in February. Sorry if I haven't been communicative about that, but I did write them down and continue to pray. I know one of my friends got a job that she was praying about. So if you do have a prayer request, always leave that in the comments below, or you can email me as well. Or if you have an update for what you had asked for prayer for last time, I'd welcome that as well. And like I said, hope to see you again soon. Hope to post a whip parade video, but we'll see. My household is pretty chaotic. So as I say at the end of all my videos, and I'm a little bit rusty, let's see if I can pull this out. May the favor of the Lord our God be upon us and establish the work of our hands. Psalm 90, verse 17. Take care.